All right, good morning. My name is Chase Nishi, Chairperson of the Authority. I'd like to call to order the August 2nd, 2023 at-large authority meeting of the Hawaii Community Development Authority. And the time is now 10:32.
Thank you, Chair. In accordance with section 92-3.7 Hawaii Revised Statutes, the Hawaii Community Development Authority is holding today's at-large board meeting virtually on Zoom. The Zoom link details were included on the meeting agenda. Therefore, members of the public are welcome to join us on Zoom and also at our physical meeting site at the American Brewery Building, 547 Queen Street, second floor boardroom, Honolulu, Hawaii 96813. The meeting is being live streamed on HCDA's YouTube page. The HCDA communications staff is hosting this meeting. Once this meeting begins, everyone will be muted for clearer audio. Board members, if you have any questions or comments, please unmute yourselves to speak. This is a public virtual meeting, so to prevent any distractions, if you are not a board member, staff member, or HCDA's Attorney General, please turn off your video during the meeting. If you are providing public testimony, your name will be called accordingly. Please turn your video on, clearly state your name and affiliation and proceed with your testimony. When you have finished, please turn off your video. In accordance with section 92-3.7C Hawaii Revised Statutes, if the authority's ICT connection for the remote meeting is lost, the meeting will be recessed until the connection is restored. If the connection cannot be restored within 30 minutes, the meeting will be terminated and the authority will continue the meeting at another date. Thank you.
Thank you. HCDA board members, please remain visible and audible during the meeting. Also, please acknowledge that you're present by either saying here or present. Let the record reflect the following members are present. Vice Chair Higa.
Member Higa is present.
Member Apo.
Present.
Member Miranda Johnson.
Present.
Member Anderson.
Present.
Member Aoki. Member Aoki. Member Evans.
Present.
Member Suji.
Present.
Member Sakura.
Present.
Member Ray. Member Ray. Member Leon.
Present.
Member Light. Member Light. Do we have quorum?
Nature. 9, we have quorum.
Thank you. For today's meeting, board members will have an opportunity to ask questions or provide comments after an agenda item has been presented. Individuals from the public who have requested to provide verbal public testimony on a specific agenda item are on standby and will be permitted into the meeting respectively. The item number 1 is regular meeting minutes of July 5, 2023. Board members, are there any comments or corrections to these minutes? If there are no comments or questions, the minutes are approved as presented.
Hi, Chair. This is Deputy Suzuka. Just wanted to know, we should add the YouTube link to the top of the meeting minutes. It's an update to the Sunshine Law. So I would suggest approving with that amendment.
Okay.
Because the last meeting was hacked, we cannot access the YouTube account.
But it's just a link we're adding. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, which is the link we're adding, Kelly, correct?
yes, correct.
So noted. We just approve the minutes as corrected with Kelly's comments to add the link.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. All right, action item. Tab number 2, consider authorizing the Executive Director of Hawaii Community Development Association, HCDA, to enter into a memorandum of agreement, MOA, with the State of Hawaii Department of Public Safety, PSD, to provide project management services related to the construction and expansion of kitchen facilities and other related interim and permanent improvements, which is going to be referred as project, including in the procurement by HCDA of construction and other services related to the project located at the State of Hawaii Women's Community Correctional Center, WCCC, located at 42-477 Kalani Aleole Highway, Kailua, Hawaii, 96734. And further identified by Oahu Tax Map Key number 14-002-003-004 pursuant to section 206E-410 Hawaii Revised Statutes. Executive Director Nakamoto will now present the staff report.
Thank you, Chair. I'm really pleased to present this staff report on this action item. At a previous meeting, we presented this item for information that was prior to the governor signing the budget, which provided the funds for these for this facility and this improvement at the Women's Correctional Center. Just by background, the strategic plan that was adopted by the board in November of 2022 allows us to assist other state agencies who need assistance for the development of facilities or infrastructure. And this is the case with the Women's Correctional Community Center. I want to acknowledge Wayne Takara, the Chief Planner for Public Safety Division, who is here right now and who has asked for assistance. I also want to acknowledge my Director of Capital Improvements, Mark Kokoda, who has been instrumental in this project so far, and his project manager, Kara Kimura. This project involves the construction and project management over new kitchen facilities to be located at the Women's Correctional Center. Right now, the construction of a new housing facility with additional beds is underway. These kitchen facilities will add additional meal preparation capability to accommodate those additional beds. It will, and there will be other improvements related to the kitchen. This kitchen facility will be away from on a different location from the existing kitchen, so it will allow the existing kitchen to be fully operational while the new kitchen is being built. It will also allow the continuation of the KCC culinary program at the existing kitchen. Board members, you know, this culinary program that's being provided to inmates is such a valuable resource and a learning opportunity for inmates. It not only teaches them culinary skills, which can help, you know, when they're released, but it also teaches them life skills. And both of these skills are really necessary as these inmates are released into the community. And I believe that these kind of programs will help, you know, reduce the recidivism rate. This is the kind of project that both is contemplated by the strategic plan and also is something that has provides a very valuable sort of you know, resource for this particular facility and has very important social and policy considerations. And I'm really pleased to be able to hopefully help Public Safety Division to project manage and construction manage this project through. We have been working with PSD staff, Chief Planner Wayne Takara, and the idea is that we would enter into an MOU, which we need to finalize, whereby the funds would be transferred to HCDA. We will then procure the necessary services to do this. And I believe that you know, we'll reach agreement on all the issues, including a fee schedule and so forth. But we're committed. I'm committed to helping PSD in this effort. There is staff capacity to assist on this project. Mark Kokoda, my Director of Capital Planning, has already identified a project manager to assist with this, and I believe there is capacity to do it. And I'm recommending to the board that they approve this, our assistance in this really worthwhile project. And like I said, Wayne Takara is here, and I believe Michael Vincent is also on virtual to answer any questions that the board members may have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions for this staff report? And Executive Director Nakamoto. No questions? Is there any public testimony on this matter? No public testimony. Is there a motion, since there's no public testimony or no questions, is there a motion for the authority to authorize the Executive Director of the Hawaii Community Development Authority, HCDA, to enter into a memorandum of agreement, MOA, with the State of Hawaii Department of Public Safety, PSD, to provide project management services related to the construction and expansion of kitchen facilities and other related interim and permanent improvements, just called the project, including the procurement by ACDA of construction and other services related to the project located at the State of Hawaii Women's Community Correctional Center, WCCC, located at 42-477 Kalani Anaole Highway, Kailua, Oahu, Hawaii, 96734, and further identified by Oahu Tax Map Key Number 14-002-003-004, pursuant to Section 206E-410 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes. Do I get a motion?
I so move.
Moved by Member Leon.
Moved by Member Leong. Do I get a second?
Second.
So second by Member Evans.
Yes.
Is there any further discussion on this motion? If not, Executive Director Nakamoto, can you call the roll?
Yes, Chair. On the motion made by Member Leong and seconded by Member Evans. Member Leong,
Yes.
Member Evans,
Yes.
Secretary Apo. Secretary Apo,
You're on mute. Member Apple.
Yes.
thank you. Vice Chair Higa,
Yes.
Member Miranda Johnson,
Yes.
Member Uri left the meeting. Member Anderson,
Yes.
Member Tsuji,
Yes.
Member Aoki. Not here. No. Member Sakura,
Yes.
Member Ray. And Chair Ishii.
Yes,
Chair, the motion passes.
thank you. Tab number 3, consider authorizing the Executive Director to enter into a memorandum of agreement, MOA.
Chair, I'm sorry, I missed one member, Member Light. She's not on the meeting, sorry. Okay, I have to call her out.
Oh, no problem. All right, no, item number 3, consider authorizing the Executive Director to enter into a memorandum of agreement, MOA, with the State of Hawaii Office of Planning and Sustainable Development, OPSD, to transfer $500,000 for the purpose of OPSD procuring professional services to develop an infrastructure implementation master plan for the East Kapolei area located near the Keone Kuala Kai and Honolulu Uli transit stations in the island of Oahu that will identify and determine the infrastructure needed to be built to support the transit oriented development, TOD, in the East Kapolei area pursuant to Section 206E-18 Hawaii Revised Statutes. Ryan Tam, Planning and Development Director, will now present the HCDA staff report. Right?
Hi, good morning, Chair Shi again, and board members. Just to briefly summarize the staff report, which is in your packets. Again, the legislature appropriated $500,000 in this past session for this infrastructure implementation study. Again, this is very similar to a study that was done for the Iwilei Kapalama transit-oriented development area. The study is going to identify and prioritize the actual infrastructure improvements that are needed in order to enable housing and other transit-oriented development infrastructure to proceed. I'd like to acknowledge Ms. Katia Valaciano, who is from the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development, who should also be on the call in case there are any questions. But again, the steps, this would HCDA would transfer the funding to the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development. We would also enter into an MOA to codify this, and OPSD would take the lead on procuring and executing this study, which again is very similar to what they have done on for the other districts.
Mayor Ishii, this is Mary Alice. I'd like to disclose that I am the interim director of the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development, and ask if I may be permitted to continue to participate in this action item.
Participate and but not as.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Member Evans, I think you can participate, I don't see that being a concern or a conflict, but I think you would have to abstain from your vote.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, I wanted to disclose that DLNR has some lands in this area, the state lands identified, I believe, in the report. And so, you know, we would benefit from the infrastructure study that is procured are related to our land. So I have to ask whether I should abstain also on this matter.
Yeah, I think you should abstain too.
Okay.
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 Well, then,
I think we have to, I think for member Tsuji, DLNR has lands, as does other state agencies. Yeah. Yeah,
I think just disclose.
just disclose, I think the disclosure is sufficient, member Tsuji,
Okay. All right.
but we're now short of vote.
we should be.
I have a question.
We have 9.
Yes, Ms. Member Leon.
We have 9.
Joanne,
Yes.
can I ask
Yes,
a
ma'am.
question?
Yes, Member Leon. Can you hear me?
Okay, I just don't understand. Isn't this what HCDA does anyway? So why does it have to transfer the funds to this department instead of doing it yourself?
Good.
If I may, Chair Shi, again, in terms of staff, both two reasons. So one is kind of staff capacity. You know, being able to implement this plan expeditiously. I think the other reason, which is more overriding, is that the OPSD did do a similar plan, similar implementation plan for the Iwilei Kapalama area. So they have expertise and experience in bringing together this diverse set of stakeholders. So certainly, I think our focus has primarily been on the districts, the community development districts that we have jurisdiction over, and whereas OPSD has been working in some of these other TOD areas. And certainly we will be working closely with OPSD and on this study, but I think in terms of implementation, efficient implementation, I think we felt that this was probably the best way to go.
Okay,
Sorry, if I may add one more thing, I think also OPSD had also been planning to do this study anyway, so they actually already had the procurement documents ready to go, so they've been planning to do this. I think the legislature just shifted the money over to HCDA during the final bill process.
Member Leon, does that answer your question?
I'll take it offline when I can talk with you. That's all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Leon. You know, Kelly Suzuka, are you on?
Yes,
Kelly, can you maybe enlighten us on the potential conflict by Member Evans and Member Suji that was brought up? Do you think it would be okay for them to still participate in the vote?
I think,
And
sorry.
count or
And counts towards
Quorum.
quorum?
Yeah, so they're okay for quorum. We have quorum for the meeting. We have 9 people here. I think for member Suji, DLNR, I think the disclosure that DLNR has land in this area is okay to vote. For member Evans, however, since she is on as interim director as OPSD, I do think she needs to abstain directly from this vote since the money is going directly to OPSD.
Okay, so with that, then Kelly, we're not gonna have enough votes to pass this.
Yeah, this
So
may
that-
have to be deferred until another meeting where we have sufficient votes for this matter without member Evans.
Okay, we just. I don't think we can write them.
Yeah, didn't expect, I don't think we expected member Hirata to leave the meeting a little bit earlier. Why don't we defer this matter?
Exposure.
Yeah, and defer this and then, or defer this matter. And then we're gonna have to take it up at the next meeting. Meanwhile, we'll work on the other things related to this, like finalizing the MOU.
Okay. Right, thank you. So again, since we do not have enough for a vote, we will defer this. The next item on the agenda, item number 4, status update by ECDA staff regarding the funding of the state budget for the transit-oriented development projects located on the island of Oahu, and more specifically in East Kapolei near Keone IA rail stations, Iwale Kapalama area, and the Kailailoa Community Development District, specifically Saratoga Avenue. Mr. Garrett Sasaki, ACD Administrative Services Officer, will now give the staff report. Garrett.
Thank you, Chair. In the interest of time, we won't go through the slide deck. But overall, in the past legislative session, we got this list of projects included in the staff report. So East Kapolei Infrastructure Master Plan, we talked about that just now. Skip past that one. In the Iwale Kapalama area, we have 25 million. We're intending to use it on electrical improvements. So in the next authority meeting, we'll be asking to enter into an MOA with OPSD, HHFD, and HCDA. In Kailailoa, we received funding for electrical upgrades. We were planning to do that work ourselves. That's the plan. In UH West Oahu, we're appropriated 35 million for a roadway off campus, but on UH lands. In the next meeting, we'll also ask to enter into an MOA with the University of Hawaii and HHFEC. Thank you. Stand on that.
All right, members, this is for information discussion. So does any member have any questions or comments on the staff report?
Chair Ishii, I have.
Yes, Member Evans.
I think the staff's detailing of the appropriations for to HCDA for various TOD projects that are ongoing and progressing indicates the partnership nature of transit-oriented development. And that is also by the legislature created in the TOD Council, which has representatives from a number of state agencies and other partners from the county. I think this collaboration and partnership approach is what's necessary to do these major transit-oriented development communities that will provide housing for local families, transit choices for local families, and mixed use amenities around rail stations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that insight. Any other comments or questions on the staff report? Is there public testimony? And since there's no public testimony, we will go to tab number 5. Findings and recommendations of the permitted interaction group established at the May 5th, 2023 at-large board meeting pursuant to section 92-2.5B for revised statutes for the purpose of conducting the executive director's annual performance review, and 2, establishing the executive director's new 1 to 3 and 5-year goals, and accordingly amend the agency's strategic plan adopted by the authority at the November 2nd, 2022 General Authority meeting. Can I ask the executive director to present the staff report relating to the new 1, 3, and 5-year goals for the agency's strategic plan? Great.
Thank you, Chair. The staff report for this permitted interaction group that was established for the purpose of conducting my annual review and for establishing the new 1, 3, and 5-year goals is contained in the board packet at tab number 5. Attached to the staff report is a matrix that contains the new goals, priorities, and strategies for 2024. And the intent of this document is it revises, in particular, the 1-year goals, which become the 1-year goals for not only the agency, but for me as the executive director. It sets forth for the board members a metric to evaluate not only the agency's performance, but my performance, especially for the year. Just notable, what I'd like to add to the 1-year goal, Chair and board members, is adding a 1-year goal to commence the rulemaking process for Act 221, which is the climate change bill. You'll note that it is included in the 3 and 5-year goals as well, but I just wanted to emphasize, just based on the discussions and the comments from board members, that we should include that as a 1-year goal under the Kalailo Community Development District table and the Kakako Community Development District as a high priority goal to commence rulemaking. You'll notice additionally that per the chair's suggestion, we've indicated priority levels, and the high, medium, low priorities reflect whether or not the goal is aligns with a strategic direction or it's really an urgent matter. So there are things, priorities, goals in here that are really labeled as high priority because they are a strategic direction for the agency. So just as an example, all of the TOD projects that Mr. Sasaki talked about, where there's a 1-year deadline to encumber these funds, I've listed it as high priority because we have to encumber those funds within the next year, by June 2024. Other things that were noted as high priority, I think, is to complete the Malka area rules that we've been working on, and also to complete the Kalai law plan and rules revision within the next year. So Chair, I'm open for questions by the board members.
Questions? Comments? Now the pig would like to conduct the evaluation of the executive director. The authority will convene in an executive session pursuant to HRS 92-5A2 to consider the evaluation of an employee where consideration of matters affecting privacy will be involved. The authority will reconvene its regular meeting to discuss the executive director's 1, 3, and 5-year goals and strategic plan. Do I have a motion for the authority to convene into executive session pursuant to HRS 92-5A2?
So moved.
Member Evans?
Member Evans moves. Is there a second?
Second. Member Paul.
For a poll second. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? No. This motion passes unanimously. I would request that we are joined in the executive session by Executive Director Nakamoto, Administrative Services Officer Garrett Sasaki, Deputy Attorney General Kelly Suzuka and Kevin Tong, and ACDA staff, Tomlin Sources and Francine Murray. We estimate the executive session will last approximately 15 minutes. Thank you. Okay, the regular meeting is now back in regular session. The time is 10:28. 11. I'm sorry, 11:20. In the authority's executive session, board members discussed the executive director's performance evaluation for the past year. The results of this evaluation will be presented in the next scheduled at-large meeting.
And also to note, during the executive session, no decisions were made and no vote was taken.
Correct.
Yeah.
Does that have any public testimony?
Any public testimony?
No. If not, this concludes our meeting.
Or we got the report of the executive.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's part of executive director. All right,
So, go ahead. No, okay. So Garrett Saki will kind of present the June 2023 financial highlights. They are in tab 6.
Okay, thank you, Chair, Executive Director. The reports in your packet, tab 6. The biggest activity that happened in the month of June was we received the Haleakala Place loan. Just so everyone knows, that was a $17 million loan. We received about one payment per year. It's a big lump sum. The balance is down to 14 million. And so we're keeping track of that. I do want to refer everyone to the reports. This is the June 2023 financials, so it does capture the fiscal year. It's a good time to look at Exhibit 1 to see, where our big sources of revenues are, our expenses coming out. We end up with about $3 million revenue over expenses, but we use that to pay for our special fund payroll. So all of that gets transferred into the operating account for the subsequent fiscal year. That's all. Thank you.
Is there any questions, members? Are there any questions or comments for the staff report by Garrett Sasaki regarding the financial highlights for June 2023? Is there any public testimony? No. Okay, if not, thank you for those who joined us on Zoom in person and via YouTube. This concludes our business for today, and the meeting is now adjourned, and it is 11:31. Thank you. Stop, Carlisle.